Well, I mean, I don't know that we have a receiver that runs over a 4.4. You know, I mean, if you look at our entire roster in that unit, I mean, it's all speed. I think the common theme that you'll see throughout the season is the versatility. You know, we have so many different guys who can line up in so many different places and do so many special things with the ball in their hand. You know, it's a good feeling as a quarterback. You know, and it kind of I guess you could say makes my job a little easier in an aspect of, you know, my responsibility is just to give them opportunities to make plays. And when you have playmakers like that at multiple different positions, I just got to do my job and give them opportunities.
Garrett, y'all added a couple key pieces from Oklahoma, Nick Anderson, Bauer Sharp. How have they found their roles with the team, and what's your connection with them been like so far?
Yeah, no, it's been great. Bauer and Nick have done an unbelievable job, just, you know, getting mixed in with the guys now. And I tell people all the time, not only has it helped with us having these transfers and trying to make them close with everybody and make them feel welcome, it's also made the returners closer too. So it's definitely the closest team I've been on at LSU, just as far as a brotherhood standpoint, and obviously the most talented team as well.
Bauer had kind of a interesting interception when he played y'all. Is that something y'all ever tease him about?
All the time. It comes up all the time. I had a TikTok pop up on my For You page the other day of him throwing the pick, send it straight to him. Like, it's funny. Sometimes we tell him he did it on purpose because he knew he was coming here and stuff like that. So we like to mess with him about it. Obviously, it's not a very fond moment for him, but he's a tight end, not a quarterback. So, you know, I'm excited to see what he's able to do this year.
You're asking about A&M. How do you walk that fine line between being a playmaker to how tough these games are in this conference?
Yeah, I mean, it's the toughest conference in all of football, and I think that's pretty evident. I don't really care what anybody says about it. To play an SEC schedule week in and week out, you don't get any rest. And so, you know, when you go from what we did and playing A&M to then playing Florida, or to A&M to Alabama to Florida, like, it doesn't get easy, you know. And so definitely a learning experience, as I said before, just understanding when there's opportunity for me to make plays, when it's the right look, when it's the right play, that's when I have the opportunity to make plays, you know, when it's clean, when it's not. So just learning that, and you know, as you said, it is a fine line, and, you know, understanding when a play is no good and it's time to just throw the ball away and burn a play, and also when it's time to make one.
Garrett, do you feel like
crowded podium here, or 70,000 in the stadium? I mean, what's the human element of all eyes being on you as a college quarterback?
Yeah, I mean, it's a responsibility. You know, I'm very blessed, and you know, it's important, I think, for athletes to have a foundation. You know, for me, that is my faith and my belief in Christ and God, and that has just helped me so much. You know, I'm playing for an audience of one at the end of the day. You know, there's 100,000 people looking at me, but all I care about is one. You know, and so that has helped me a ton, just over the years, growing in my faith and having that foundation to lean on throughout the highs and lows of the season, and also the highs and lows of the game.
Do you feel like you're the face of the SEC now?
I don't know. I don't know about that. I feel like that I'm the starting quarterback for the LSU Tigers, and that comes with responsibility. Thank God every day for that, and I just do my best to represent the right way.
Yeah, what are your initial thoughts on coming to Norman for the first time?
Yeah, it'll be cool. I don't know too much about that place or that stadium, but you know, obviously they're always going to have a good football team. Coach Venables does a really good job, and so definitely always a very strong defense, very talented defense, very hard defense to play against. You know, with all the different looks and things that they do. So very excited for that opportunity.
Garrett, I want to ask you about last year's on this game. First of all, can you take me through that play where you got out of the Perkins sack? That was really a pretty big one. And then just what does that game kind of mean to you?
Yeah. I mean, it just was just trying to make a play there. You know, I had to make a play, had to go get it. Game on the line, you know, it just kind of takes over, I guess. You know, the adrenaline kicks in, and you just got to do what you got to do to win the football game. And so, obviously, that last play is something that's pretty special to me with Kyron and that sword. You know, I'll never forget that moment, not just because of what it meant to me as an LSU quarterback, but also, you know, my relationship with Kyron and, you know, obviously everything that happened. It's something that I'll never forget. So.
Some of the road games last year, Garrett, like A&M and Arkansas, how do those prepare you for, like, Clemson?
Yeah. Well, obviously, I mean, as I said, the SEC, you go on the road in the SEC, there's no cupcakes. You know, we go on the road to Vanderbilt this year, and that's going to be a tough game, you know, just because the environments in the SEC, the type of players, the level of players you have in the SEC, and Clemson is no different. You know, that stadium over there is pretty electric. It's going to be very similar to playing an A&M or a Florida or an Alabama. So something that we're very excited for, very open to the challenge. We understand that it's not going to be easy. You know, we talk all the time about beating them, but we also know that Clemson's a good football team, and I think that's why we have that mindset. Is we know that it's going to take our best, and we're going to do everything we can to prepare ourselves to give our best that day.
And what did you get out of the Saints camp with your dad?
Yeah, no, it's cool. I mean, just having my dad that close and being able to get over there and just spend time with him, and something I haven't been able to do for a while, and you know, be around him and around football. You know, we always are talking ball. We have a great relationship when it comes to that. But just being around practice in the NFL, just watching it, there's always things you can take away. You know, just seeing different guys and different things. It's a really cool experience.
Who do you think is the best LSU wide receiver in the NFL right now? That's something that people are.
In the NFL right now, oh man, that's tough. Man, I mean, that is a question that is baiting me to get in trouble. Look, I played with Malik and BT, so those are my dogs, and obviously I have a lot of respect for Jets and Jamar, but you know, Malik and BT, those guys are pretty special, and we came in the same class together. So I'm definitely going to have to give them my vote out of respect for my boys. So.
Garrett, Carius Kern is somebody we've heard a lot about
Yeah.
from the freshman offensive line perspective. What have you seen from him, and just how maybe he can contribute this year?
Yeah, no, I mean, he's unbelievable. I mean, you see the videos of him squatting and bench pressing the house. You know, he's so strong, and I think he's also matured so much since he's got here. You know, just learning the ins and outs of the offense and understanding what it takes to be a tackle or a guard, wherever he ends up playing in the SEC. You know, as I said before, it's the toughest league in all of football, and so playing offensive line and the nastiness that comes with it, the first-round picks that you face every single week, it's tough. So just preparing him for that, flipping his mindset to, you know, hey, if you want to play in this league, you can't act like a freshman. You know, you got to act like somebody who's been here. And so I think he's done an unbelievable job going into that.
Speak to Chris's development from like a speed guy to like a total wide receiver.
Yeah.
Time in LSU.
Yeah, I mean, obviously that speed, people like to argue was his only thing, but I believe, you know, since the beginning, Chris has had a special talent, you know, as far as tracking the football, route running, and he's only gotten better and developed over the years as well. And so that speed is now an elite trait of his that he uses as a weapon. And you know, obviously we were raving about Chris, you know, in fall camp last year, and nobody was really able to see that early in the year because of his injury. But I think if you watch the last 3 games of the season last year, you can see how much of a different team we were and would have been if we would have had a healthy Chris Hilton. His ability to take the top off, his ability to run a backside dig and catch it and go 60 yards to the house because of his speed, it's unbelievable. And so he's done an unbelievable job of just attacking and you know, whether it was, you know, recovery throughout his rehab and things like that. And, you know, obviously we came in together, so that's somebody that I'll always have a relationship with, and so I'm super excited for him this year.
So what's the key in handling the high expectations? You talked about always such a high expectations. You've been through. How do you handle that?
Yeah, well, I think the high expectations that come with being at LSU, and obviously the expectations that are around this season, as I said before, they come from within now. You know, we have expectations for ourselves, and I think we've changed the way we think about it. We have the expectations, but not in a result-oriented way. Coach Kelly's huge on being process-oriented, so not only in our individual processes, but now also as a team on what our thought process is, you know, it starts week by week. And so having that expectation from within ourselves, but also understanding that we have to go handle business week 1 in order to create that.
Garrett, who was your favorite player growing up, or who's a player that you really respected as you were growing up in football?
Yeah. So I'll give a couple answers to that. You know, growing up, I always watched my dad's players. So, you know, I always idolized Drew Stanton, Jake Locker, and A.J. McCarron. Those were my guys growing up. And as far as just football in general, Drew Brees was always my favorite player. Just watching him, and you know, I was never the biggest kid, so I always felt like I played a similar way to him, and I always had to anticipate as he did. And part of, you know, what helped me into the passer I am now. But ultimately, my favorite player of all time has always been my dad. Just, you know, watching him and his college highlights on the VCR tape because he's so old, or some of his highlights with the Saints and things like that. So I've always idolized my dad since I was a kid. You know, he's accomplished everything that I dream of accomplishing one day, and so that's definitely got to be my answer.